Good morning and welcome to Journey of Crafting. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to add flaps to all of my pages, and this is a continuation of the album that I am making for my October daily. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create flaps on each of the pages in order to give me more space for entries. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to measure. And what I'm going to do is the width of this, I'm going to take the measurement of the black rectangle, which is 9.5 inches across. Now I'm going to take a ½ inch off of that. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to measure out 9 inches, and I actually already have this pulled out. Cut it straight down, and now we have our 9 inches. Okay. So now this is able to fit right inside of here. Now we want to cut this down again because we want 2 flaps. If you don't want 2 flaps, you don't have to cut this down. Okay, so if you want 1 flap, then leave it like this and we will continue the process. If you want 2 flaps, then go ahead and cut this 9 inch in half. So we're going to cut this 9 inches down to 4.5. And there we go. Okay. So actually, I don't know why I did that. I still need that open. So now we have 2 pieces that are able to fit right here. Now, the reason that I cut it down to 9 is because if you guys look right here, let me move this real quick. So if you look right here, this is 1 solid piece, but it fits inside that decorative paper, right? So if we cut it in half and we have 2 pieces, we actually still have enough space to put a border, if you will, around each piece. And basically what that does is it enables you to lift and move the flaps freely without them, running into each other. So now what we're going to do is we're going to set these aside real quick. We're going to measure the black piece on the height, and that should be 3 3/4, and it is. So now what we're going to do is, instead of taking away a ½ inch, we're actually going to add a ½ inch. So it's going to be 4 1/4. So for the width, you minus ½ inch. For the height, you add ½ inch. So let's bring our cutter back over here. We're actually going to cut these together just to save some time. And she wants to do it. As soon as I said the word cut, she's like, can I do it? Can I do it? Can I do it? All right, so she's going to do that. Hold on. All right. And that's that. So I've already cut a lot of these out, so we don't need the cutter anymore. Now what we're going to do is, actually, if you want to use the cutter still, you can. I think I'm going to grab my scoreboard and I'll be right back. What we're going to do is we're going to score our pieces that we just cut. So you're going to lay them down at the 4.5 mark. And find your bone folder and score at 4. So what that does is it brings it in 4.5, or brings it in a ½ inch. And you just keep doing that until you have all of your pieces scored. Now there are two measurements on this particular non-square. It's not a square, it's a rectangle. So there's 4.5 this way, and then there's also 4 1/4 this way. Honestly, it doesn't matter which direction you want to score, but whichever way you make it, make sure that you follow the same dimensions throughout the entire project. Otherwise, you're going to end up with like mismatched and wonky flips. So what we're going to do now is we're going to set this aside, and we are going to put some strong double-sided tape across this mark that we just scored. So we scored here, and just ignore my nails that are chipped, but we scored here, and now we're going to put double-sided tape right here, okay? And you can use whatever double-sided tape you have. You can use AGT, you can use mono. You could use a wet glue. Like if you have a very strong wet glue, then you could use that. I wouldn't, for something like this, because of what the project is, I would not suggest like a glue stick. Just because it is for an album, it's not something that's not going to get a lot of use. So this album, in the construction of the album, will get a lot of use, and in the decorating of the album will also get a lot of use. So you want to make sure you put something on there that's going to withstand all of this usage. So now what we're going to do is, where we just put that tape, we're going to fold right on top of that score line. So basically that tape is going to be inside, just like this. So let me move this out of the way and do another one. So we're going to fold it, and we're going to fold up on that score mark that we just made. Okay? Okay, got a couple more. Right here is that score mark. We're going to fold it up, and the tape is going to be on the inside of this little card. Okay, and the last one, you're going to fold it up, and the tape is going to be on the inside right here. So when you're done, all of your cards should look like this. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our page, we're going to take 2 of the flaps, I'm going to take the backing off here, and we line this up, and you can see about where, this is how it's going to look. Before you take the backing off, what you can do is you can take a card that doesn't have it still has the backing on it. Take a card and look at where you want the spacing to be. So if you want a larger gap in the middle, then, you know, make it like that. If you want a smaller gap, then you can make it like that, and so on and so forth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up just outside this edge here, but I'm going to line it up with this because it's going to be a lot more difficult if I am trying to line it up with the card itself versus the flap. So once you have that lined up, you want to put it just on the inside of that score. You don't want to touch the score mark, and you don't want to go over the score mark. The reason that you don't want to do that is because when you fold it down, you want to have that give, because you don't know, well, I don't know about you, but right now, I don't know what I'm going to put on these flaps. So I don't know what kind of decorations I'm going to have on here. I don't know what kind of pictures I'm going to have on here. You know, I don't know any of that stuff yet. So just doing this again, we're going to, you don't need to flatten this out. I am flattening this out so you guys can see better what I'm doing. So all I'm doing is I'm taking this is where we cut the bag in previous videos. I am taking it just underneath that top flap, and I am lining this up just underneath the score mark. And I mean just underneath. So it is not touching the score mark and it's not over the score mark. Okay. And once you have that down, just burnish it down, set it aside, and do your last one or the next one. I've already done all of mine except for these 2 pages to save some time on the video. So we open it up just like this. We take this top portion here, line up this portion with the tape, put it where you want it as far as the spacing on the page. Put it just underneath that score mark, fold and crease. Okay, and the last one, open it up, put it on the back of this top flap here, just inside of the score mark. Don't touch the score mark and don't go over the score mark. Crease, and voila. Okay, and that is that. Now we have our pages constructed. Now what you can do is you could leave this flap open, or you could seal this flap completely and leave an open pocket here, which I may or may not do that. I have some final decorating things that I want to do with these pages before I put them in the album, but that is about it. The only thing that I'm waiting on is I am waiting to make the cover, the book cover. So as it sits right here, each one of these pages has the potential to hold at least 4 days or 4 entries. So you could do day 1 on these 2 or do it on just 1. You could do day 2 on these 2 or just 1. Either, there's so many different opportunities for this particular way of layout. You can, you know, put your entries in and then decorate it all at the end, or you could decorate it, you know, day by day or week by week. Doesn't really matter. But the way that this is laid out right now, you have a lot of potential with the way you put your entries in each album. So you'll have 2 solid pieces just like this, very large pieces on each page. You will have 4 flaps that you're able to write and decorate on each page. And there, remember when we started this album, we started with 8 bags. So that's a lot. That's 32, assuming you use the surface as 1. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 32 possible entries, assuming that that's how you do it. Now you could use 1 or you could use 4 as 1 day. But like I said, with this particular layout, you have a lot of diversity and a lot of opportunities. So I'm going to look at this a little bit further in depth, see if I have any more decorating that I want to do. And I look forward to making the binder, the cover that you guys have picked out for me to make and show you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you liked this video. If you did, make sure that you give me a thumbs up. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. I do upload videos daily. I upload all kinds of different videos. And if you have any comments, suggestions, requests, or concerns, leave those in the comment box below. So thank you guys again so much for watching. Until next time, bye guys.